Kyle here from All Media Reviews. So here to do a little bit of a video blog. My wife and I went on a little bit of an adventure. Fortunately, unfortunately, when we ventured to visit a friend of ours in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, over the last weekend, right before our 8th wedding anniversary. Yeah, I mean, I've never been to Oshkosh. I've been to Milwaukee and Madison and Chicago several times. I know even Eau Claire. The thing is, you know, you get directions, and we end up going south when we should have gone east on Highway 12. I learned there's not a direct route like when you're taking 94. 94 runs from, you know, Minnesota all the way down, maybe like New Orleans or something like that, like the Mississippi River. It goes south, southeast, but south. And I've always taken 94 traveling to Chicago or through Wisconsin. But our directions, you know, I was like, well, I'm not going to do that for Oshkosh because Oshkosh is east, not as much south. It's south, but then it's east. And we end up near the Wisconsin Dells. Actually, we're thinking of going there because they have like an outlet store, but the time we left later than we should have and everything too. But the bottom line is we went the wrong way, and then and it's getting close to dark. So we end up trying to find our way back. I had to get gas, and we end up kind of in the middle of nowhere. At one point, my wife's cell phone service went out. It was dark, and it's cornfields, and there's just side roads. The smartphone is telling you to go somewhere, and it's not really where you should be going. In fairness, I typed in Oshkosh, the city. I didn't type in our actual destination to our hotel. So, yeah, we got there about 2 hours later than we were even projecting to, but it was a little bit something out of a horror movie. But I mean, it wasn't a disaster. It felt like a disaster. We ended up eating dinner late and all this stuff. That was part of the reason why my wife was not so much of a happy camper, because I don't know. That's something that affects her more, even though I'm the one with all the medical stuff and the diabetes. So we spent the weekend in Oshkosh, sort of. At that point, we got there. We had dinner. Tried to calm down and everything like that, and went to what they're known as a farmer's market, but it's more like a little mini fair in downtown Oshkosh. On Saturday, actually, there was this band. I posted it on like the Discord channel and on Facebook. They were playing the Decemberist song, Mariner's Revenge Song. And then some of the population is Amish. That's the thing, is you drive through parts. I mean, I've done it before. These small towns, and you know, you could call it Middle America, Heartland America, you know, rural parts of America. It's not just exclusive to America, I suppose, but it's almost culturally very different. We did see some Amish people on a horse and buggy, actually, and then at the fair on Saturday, we bought a little pie from them, Amish apple pie. So the Decemberist Mariner's Revenge Song kind of fit in some ways. So I got the kitty wanting to say hello. Hi, Kashi. But, so then the other plan for the day, we're meeting my wife's longtime Monkees friend, and we end up going to their movie theater. And Oshkosh, I mean, it's not, like, we went through several towns that were much smaller than it. I wouldn't call it a teeny town, but I would say it's comparable to, say, like, one of the suburbs here, I guess, in terms of, I don't know what it is. It's like 100,000 people, maybe. But it's mainly Main Street. I don't know if they have more than one movie theater, but they were doing Rocky Horror Picture Show. And while I'm not going to get into like A, B, C, D, E, F, G in terms of details of it, I've never seen Rocky Horror Picture Show, even though we told them I'd seen it. I was not aware of all the experience. I know it's usually a midnight screening here in the Twin Cities. There's going to be one in a few weeks. I know the cast, people like Tim Curry and Meatloaf and Susan Sarandon, I think I knew, but I didn't quite aware of, you know, like some of the other people that were in it, Barry Bostwick, and anyway, the movie was scheduled, like the tickets, my wife's friend had bought the tickets ahead of time. It was scheduled for 7 o'clock. It was an annual thing, you know, that's been going on. It was originally 1975. Before that, it had been like a comic book, maybe a stage production, I'm not sure. And it's a musical, of course. Tim Curry, to me, has always looked like, especially in there, a lot like Freddie Mercury, though. But the actual movie was not starting to be shown until about 8:45. The other thing about the movie, I mean, it's very interactive, which is a big part of the experience of Rocky Horror Picture Show. Yap, 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 yap. You think I do a lot of talking? You know, these people have seen the movie, you know, dozens of times. Costume contest, goodie bags, throwing stuff. It's like Mystery Science Theater 3000. I was tempted to start doing some of my own version of that in a more comedic way. I mean, it was nauseating. It was pretty nauseating. So, I made it through. I mean, my short review of the movie itself it was pretty mediocre. The music in it, it's kind of corny, but I can sort of understand the ambition. It's like a parody of horror movies and musicals and some of the other stuff. I mean, musicals were sort of all the rage in the 70s. That was like all the rage, but it was a big deal. You had Grease, you had Saturday Night Fever, you had Hairspray later, you had, eventually when I was growing up, Little Shop of Horrors. Musicals have always been something in Hollywood that Hollywood's done, but I feel like, just from like thinking about it, I think about that era and that movie, Tommy I didn't love. That was Ken Russell. Tommy was eons better than Rocky Horror Picture Show from a standpoint of at least the music itself. You know, Sergeant Pepper's, with Elton John doing what was it? I forget the character he was. Was he Sergeant Pepper himself, I think? I mean, that was corny too. A lot of it. Quadrophenia, actually pulled it off. You know, and then The Wall later, you could say in some ways. But I don't know what was sort of harder to tolerate between being there and having the sort of Woodward and Bernstein, the armchair quarterback people that have seen this movie 15 times and they just kind of like to make their own little bubbles comments, having to give comments for like all these different characters about what they were, or the fact it started as late and then we hadn't even had dinner, so we were looking at it, we should just either showed up late and had dinner beforehand, but we were sort of appeasing my wife's friend, or left before the thing ended. Because they were doing some of the costume contests afterwards, too. So, I mean, it's an annual thing, it's a tradition. These people love this. I get it. I can relate. I've been to science fiction conventions. I've been amongst fans. I've been to the progressive rock scene. You know, I've been among people that love the same kind of stuff. And actually, a lot of people that came to this, I don't believe actually were from Oshkosh. They're from maybe some of the surrounding areas like Appleton, or some of the other universities, maybe Madison, even Chicago. It's a big event for these people, where they do it around the country. So I also think in the movie, the scene of the movie, it's too bad because Meatloaf's character, spoiler alert, doesn't last very long in the movie. I thought he had a bigger role actually, and they made a sequel with some of the secondary characters. The guy behind it, Richard O'Brien, he came back. And they recast the same characters. The two leads, Susan Sarandon and Barry Bostwick's character, got recast. But yeah, I mean, I've done it. I've had the experience. I really don't foresee ever doing it again. Is it the worst movie ever? No, but it definitely was. I mean, it's almost like watching Schindler's List. Being Jewish, I don't think I'd ever watch Schindler's List. So again, I watched it once. Anyway. So that's that. It's just a couple other like house cleaning items. I mean, what I'm doing here for the YouTube channel and what the plans are. I want to review some EPs. There's still some new releases coming up. I need to do the anniversaries coming up in whatever, like less than a week for the October anniversary, if I can manage to do that. Maybe a calendar update too. It just depends. I have some days off, but I got stuff. We're dealing with another mouse, unfortunately. Still dealing with this mouse. So I got people coming to my house. We have our fall check-in and stuff like that you got to have your furnace tested, of course. So there's stuff that's on the plate, and like concerts. Like tonight, there's a Christopher Reeve documentary, which is also being screened in a few weeks in Eden Prairie, but I'm not sure we're going to go to it. There's the Will Ferrell documentary. It was with one of his friends. And then there's the movie Robot. What was it? Something Robot. Friendly Robot? Wild Robot. So, and there's a Josh Radnor movie I want to see. There's some other movies coming out. There's a documentary on Luther Vandross. But, as far as the YouTube stuff, I have had not a lot, but some comments here and there from people. And when I did the blog, blogging for whatever it was, regularly, semi-regular to regularly for was 2007 basically. 2007, yeah, late 2006. 2007 through like 2020 or whatever, 13 years, 14 years. I almost never allowed comments. Just for various, the biggest reason was because you'd get spam, like bots, spam, adult stuff, links and stuff like that. And then it would kind of potentially have trolls, showing up. And I know starting YouTube starting regularly, potential for trolls. There's certain accounts like I know Cloud Cult and my company actually. There's certain accounts that never allow comments, and I'm just kind of frustrated. So I'm thinking I may either pick my spots or just completely disable comments altogether, because people just don't care. Even though it's not like they're, making massive threats or criticisms. I just don't think it. When I leave comments, I'm at least thinking about that for the most part. Like 90% of my comments, I'm being as tactful as I can, and I don't really think it's needed. And so, and the fact that my channel is I just hit 400 subscribers, but the progress is so limited. Why? I know that helps the algorithm, but I don't think it matters at this point. I'm just gonna put on the tags and then maybe I'll add a comment of my own, because sometimes I like to do that. But I don't know. I'm thinking I may just pick my spots about the comments, just because. And I'm really thinking about YouTube and like to really start doing the progressive art rock stuff and the CD A to Z. The albums of the year thing I never finished, but maybe I'm gonna go on a hiatus for that. And I really wanted to start the movies. I don't know. It's really a matter, because YouTube is a time consumer. I know Scott from the Prog Corner was talking about. I don't know what channels decided to retire or go on hiatus recently beyond the Prog Nerd Neve. But he was talking about how, certain channels, why they do certain things, and I'm not saying I'm leaving. I'm just saying that with YouTube being such a time consumer, that's the reality, and why I haven't been able to do videos the last few weeks, just because I have other priorities. So, but anyway, that's just kind of a video blog of sorts, since I haven't really been doing videos the last couple of weeks. I'm still here at this point. I've still thought about going to TikTok or trying to do both, or even just doing more blogging, stuff like that. We're gonna get more Kevin Gilbert stuff, of course. At least 4 more sometime in the next few months, maybe sometime in the next year. There's some tours that are coming around. Like Dream Theater's not coming here next year, unfortunately, but someone named Nora Jar, though, is going to be here next week. And I never did a review of Doom Flamengo. They're going to be here. There's a lot of shows I'm not going to. Chromeo and Josh Rouse and the King Crimson Beat thing are the only guaranteed concerts I'm going to. I probably want to go to the tribute show from this prog tribute band called Those Medley Kids, because I haven't seen them. I've wanted to see them for almost 2 years now. I may try to go to that, and then we're gonna go see Kumail Nanjiani, the stand-up. You're asking for attention. Yeah, we should just do videos of kitties, but yeah, I mean, if I had my druthers, I've said this before, I would just do those sort of voiceover documentary style videos, but those take so much time and effort, and work and everything. But and the collaborations, the Queen thing, I don't know if we're gonna do another one for ELP or Porcupine Tree or Savatage. I'm not sure, with Brennan and this gentleman named Michael. But unfortunately, he was using a different piece of software. He wasn't using Zoom, and he wasn't using Stream. I mean, I'd like to just do a StreamYard thing, because streaming is just more convenient. But I don't know. It just depends. They're doing the albums of the year stuff. I mean, I'll say that this year has been the second half. The last couple of months, it's been a flurry of new releases. Some not necessarily so good, but I mean, there's been more good ones than I would have expected. I mean, even just throw in the Kevin Gilbert stuff and the 2 Hours albums. I mean, it's almost like I need to make 2 lists this year. I think I might have to think about that. But just from some of these other albums that have come out, the jazz albums. I never listened to the Tigran Hamasyan record that Brendan from Death Row Unicorn was raving about. In fact, I saw one of the CDs yesterday, actually, at Cheapo. But and there's still some stuff coming out to the next month and a half. I know Opeth got pushed back till November. I'm not gonna I'm not freaking out about that, but the real hardcores were super excited to see it in a few weeks. But yeah, I don't know what the deal is with the new Dream Theater album. You think that they would announce? I mean, this is that period of time, like basically the next 5 to 6 weeks from now until like the presidential election. If you haven't announced your album, it's probably going to come out, unless it's coming out independently. It's probably going to come out in 2025, just like the new Steven Wilson record, The Overview or whatever it's called. It's expected in 25. So anyway, that's about it. I mean, just doing some of the other. I'm saying there's more to this. Doing some of these other things like the Mew list, and I don't know. I mean, I have too many ideas, of course, and not enough time. But I don't know. The CD A to Z thing seems like it's a practical thing because it's laying here right in front of me. But it's going to be like 50 videos. But it was a fun thing to do the vinyl, last year about this time. So, but anyway, that's about it for this video blog. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.